So we have another raid against the Anglo-Danes. This is a different Anglo-Danes to my last Age of the Wolf campaign game. There's no Canute in this one. And the mission that we're playing is Scouts. This is one of the new ones from the book. Slightly bizarre, we only start with one unit on the table, but throughout the game itself we always have the minimum of 2 Saga dice. The setup here changes in a minute. You'll see those guys in black, which is Hearthguard. He can't set up his Hearthguard first. I think it's ranged units, mounted units can be set up, and if you don't have either of those, you can set up a warrior unit. And I think like Hearthguard's like the last option. So they'll be swapped out for a warrior unit in a minute. So at the beginning of the turn you roll a Saga dice. On a rare I think you get a levy. On a common you get a warrior, and an uncommon you can bring on a Hearthguard. I started with my warriors on. This was probably a mistake because warriors are common. They were the easiest thing of me to bring on. But there you go. As you see, the guys down the grey are now warriors. He's moved them into trees to protect himself from my cavalry, and he's managed to get a Hearthguard unit to come on at the start of his turn as well. My guys are fatigued up because I've been running out there like an idiot and trying to throw some javelins just to annoy him. So in the following turn he managed to get on another unit of warriors, so now I'm looking outnumbered. Unfortunately at the moment I keep rolling up for warriors myself. I have no more left. The rest of my units are either Hearthguard or Levy. I think we're playing, yeah, I think it's a 4-pointer this one. So with my 2 Saga dice, occasionally I get a bit of luck. I managed to roll a 6 to get 3 Saga dice and just do a few things. I basically just keep running up and throwing a couple of javelins and then getting out there again. There's nothing much else I can do at the moment. I've got 1 unit and 2 Saga dice. So yeah, a bit of a pain in the arse really. I slowly move back. I think this game is a slaughter points game, and I think it's 7 turns from memory. So I just moved back. I've caused some casualties and I thought I'd get out of trouble in case I get caught out in a minute. So I'm trying to move around the flank here just so I can take on 1 unit at a time and keep throwing javelins at them. I managed to roll for some levy. I've got a 6, so I'm still missing 2 units of Hearthguard and my warlord as well. He comes on as a Hearthguard. So as you can see, my opponent managed to get his warlord on as well, so he's up to 5 Saga dice. So I was trying to stay back. I managed to roll for a Hearthguard unit, and I decided to bring on my warlord. That will double my Saga dice up to 4, which I really need to get some manoeuvring in, so I can move around and shoot. And things are looking as you can see. My opponent just moves up, puts down Intimidation. As you can see in the top left-hand corner there, that's Intimidation down, and gets ready for my next turn. So with a unit of Hearthguard on now, I've now got 5 Saga dice, and I'm in a good position here to run up and do a lot of damage for his units. He's got Intimidation on, so I'm just going to buff to 1 unit and let them do the work and just hit anything that's weak after that. So that's what I do. I managed to get in all directions. Is it all directions? Yeah, I think it's in all directions. It allows me to move in my opponent's orders phase or my cavalry units. So I just moved up there, held, fired a javelin, then throw javelins, because obviously if I moved again after that I'd have to engage in combat, and because I'll be within small if I was in 2 ranks. So just went up there, managed to kill one off. It's a slaughter point, and yeah, ran away after that. Now my opponent was a bit unsure on what to do now. He didn't get the dice he wanted and decided to hold his line and just put some defensive abilities down. Unfortunately, it's probably not the best idea to do against the Bretons, because all I have to do now is keep moving forwards, throwing javelins and getting points. He'd really have to move up and keep the pressure on, try and trap me in this corner, which I thought he was going to do. But he's now stopped. It's giving me plenty more options than he should have let me allowed to have. Yeah, even with his defensive abilities, I can throw enough javelins at them that I'm wiping out his Hearthguard units. Once they're gone, then I'll be going for the warrior units just to reduce his Saga dice. I'm not too bothered by the warlord. I'm up on points here. I don't want to get into a fight anywhere, so I'll just throw javelins and then fall back. And at the end of the turn, I'm looking something like this. So my opponent starts moving up and moves his Hearthguard in behind just to keep the Saga dice alive, which is a good call because he would be target number 1. He's a slaughter point and he's a reduction in Saga if I can kill him off. If I can bring on another Hearthguard unit, I might still be able to get around that flank and do it. In the meantime, I'm just going to rest my troops and throw some javelins. And once I've tooled them up and got a couple of throws in, I managed to do 2 casualties. They probably had shield wall and hard as iron up as well. He went very defensive to keep his guys alive. Downside is he's not engaging me quick enough, and I'm going to do too many casualties to him before he actually gets to my lines. So the table's looking something like this. And in my opponent's turn, I use in all directions to hide behind the hill on the far side, and then start to try and swing my cavalry so they don't get cornered. My warlord and my warriors might be in a sticky situation here, but my Hearthguard swung out now. That also gives me a chance to pick off that lone enemy Hearthguard model as well. So my opponent just equipped up and defended himself. Again, he's not pushing forward, he's just going for the defensive options, which is okay, but it's costing him dice. I mean, hard as iron is 2 dice, shield wall is 2 dice, that's 4 dice gone, and not getting any activations to actually try and chase me down. Remembering my units are generally smaller, and also my armour is reduced by 1 in combat as well for being a Breton. That's where he wants to be, is up close to me. But over in my turn, I managed to get my last unit of Hearthguard on. That last shot also reminded me now, it's a 5-point game. I didn't have much more than 5 points, just a couple of Hearthguard over the to get it to 5 points, but my opponent was still only using 4.4, so it gave me a slight edge. I was 2 Hearthguard up. So, yep, on to my opponent, and I kill off the last guy, reducing his Saga pool. And with the truth being reduced, I thought I'll throw up my warriors and my warlord, and both of them will throw. I mean, I've got 3 shots to my warlord, so every shot counts. And a couple more casualties on these guys. And bring up my Hearthguard again, just to try and finish them off, but I only managed 1 more. So the end of my turn will look something like that. And then in my turn, with all directions, I move all my cavalry well out of the way and start reforming a line with all my Hearthguard over on one side, supported by my warlord, just to get that free extra movement. So I've got more dice to throw javelins at my opponent. And as you can see here, I've now moved out of the corner. I've slowly worked my way round. I've got free movement again, and my opponent's now stuck with only those few units left. He hasn't got much of a chance. So, unsure what to do now, he just moves up to the far side and gets some defensive abilities up. So I move up with my larger unit of Hearthguard, so I've got 5 Hearthguard. Yeah, that's what I asked for, it's 5 points because it's only 1 Hearthguard over, it was my reinforcements from last turn. So yep, I went up with them and started throwing my javelins, killed off a couple. Went for some extra shooting just to cause a couple more, and managed to finish the last one off. And that left it like that for the moment, and then it was on to my opponent's turn. Or no, this was after the shooting, and then this was at the end of my turn, which was the last turn. I'd taken no casualties and wiped out every unit bar his warrior unit. As I said, it was unfortunate for my opponent. He's never really played a force like this. He knew he was dreading it, being all infantry against cavalry force. Basic plan of what he started with, of trying to corner me, was going to work really well. I have thrown these guys into combat, and they do go down horribly quick, especially my Hearthguard. Having armor 4 on Hearthguard is quite horrendous. If you had just kept doing that and not panicking about having even a 3-turn move to get into combat, I know that's 2 fatigue on you, but with your Anglo-Danes abilities to put fatigue on the enemy and even just raise your armor to cancel out me using the fatigue on you, you can do some serious damage to the Bretons. But by holding ground and just putting defense abilities up, it wasn't enough. Wasn't enough to stop the amount of throwing of javelins I can do, and I could freely move around and pick off the units I want. So that was the end of that game. I was a deciding win for the chaps here. I'm trying to remember what, after this, I think I'll start taking photos of what I actually get after each battle. On this one, I think my fate allowed me to... Oh yes, I spent for my recruitment, I gained another Hearthguard, so I now have a unit of 6 and a unit of 4 Hearthguard. And then for my fate table, my warriors were upgraded to Hearthguard. So now I have a unit of 8 Hearthguard, a unit of 7 Hearthguard, 6 Hearthguard, a unit of 4 Hearthguard, and then a unit of 12 Levy. So it's pretty Hearthguard heavy at the moment. Hopefully I'm not going to play too many people with Learned, and they can pick the size of battles, otherwise I'll be playing with very few miniatures. Alright guys, until the next time, farewell. Hey guys, well as always I have a giveaway. I'm hoping to get to 793 subscribers, 793 being the start of the Viking Age, and for that I've been given, thanks to Britain Beast, Saga rulebook, the original one with the 4 starter boards, which is the Welsh, Norman, Viking and Anglo-Danes, 2 lots of Saga dice. I have the Christian faction dice and the Viking dice, and I had some spare plastic berserkers that I had made up for my original Vikings, and they're going in too. So if you're interested in getting these, once I reach 793 subscribers, I will put out the comment on my next video saying hail, and I want you to simply reply in the comment section with Ragnar, and then the first batch that get in there I'll randomly roll, and one of you will win. So it would be nice and easy, nothing too crazy. All I'm after is subscribers. The more subscribers I get, the more I can ask and chase up for some prizes, and hopefully to make things just a bit more exciting for you. So I hope that's good to you, and I'll see you next time. Farewell.